No.
All right.
Now.
Here to convene the Thursday, January 9th, 2025 special meeting. The time now is 7 p.m. Everyone please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I move that we adjourn into executive session to discuss a personnel matter related to employment status of a particular person.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Pascarello, all in favor?
Okay. Okay, 6 in favor,
Any noes?
7? Okay, 7 in
Oh,
favor,
7.
motion carried.
All right, thank you. A motion to reconvene the special meeting. Mr. Marcy, second.
Second.
Mr. Pastorelli, stand for the pledge of allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just put it on.
Mr. Heath.
Put it on.
All right, moving on to section 4, business regionalization, non-election. Mr. Marcy, you want to take on this?
Sure. The purpose of this special meeting is to have this vote in advance of the January 15th deadline set by the state on whether the district chooses to opt out of the regionalization planning process. We discussed the regionalization imposed by the state for 4 or 5 minutes at this point. I would rehash all the arguments simply just to say that at this point, the rule is permanent as of the December Board of Regents meeting. It does carry the force of law, as we've said. And though the state made 2 changes to the language, both changes were fairly minor by their own admission. But one of the changes that they did include in the updated language in December was to allow districts the opportunity to opt out of the planning process. It is still unclear whether districts will be able to opt out of the regionalization as a whole. That I think is still up for some debate and some interpretation. But that is what we're here to discuss, so we will opt out of this planning process. And my understanding is that that would also mean we pull back the submission of our strength and needs tool, which was submitted by the district. The deadline that was set for November 1st. This, I think, is important to note that the Article 78 challenge on the administrative grounds is still proceeding. I believe at this point there's nearly 2,000 districts, 21 districts, thank you, that have signed on to that, and that we are far from the only district, even in Nassau County, that would be opting out of the planning. To pull my notes up here.
So, I got an updated unofficial list. I think it's approaching 30 schools, potentially could be more. I'm sorry, 30 districts. Could be more than 30 districts by the time it's all said and done.
And
January 15th deadline.
And it includes districts near us, such as Island Trees and Seaford, as well as districts as varied as Roslyn, Syosset, Franklin Square, Port Washington, Belmont, Merrick, districts of all sizes in all parts of Nassau County. And so, limiting my remarks here to Nassau County, since that's our region,
Yeah.
that would be included in, but it's Suffolk. I know the district in Sullivan County that also signed on to Article 78. So this is far from purely a Long Island's objection to regionalization.
So part of the rule or the minor adjustment to the regionalization rule was that boards had to vote to opt out ahead of the January 15th deadline. And so with that, I'd like to, well, I don't know if anyone else has anything else they want to say or have any opinions on this before we move to possibly vote.
I think we have to opt out as the kind of district that we are here in Plainage. We operate, I think, a lot differently than everybody else does. So at this point, I would be 100% for opting out.
Mike, I'll make a mic.
That's okay.
He talks loud.
You can hear me.
Anyone else with comments?
So the general consensus, I guess, with the coalition of school board members and whatnot, it was, I believe like a couple of months ago, was to continue and be a part of the regionalization planning, I guess, but now it's.
I think the districts that were involved, like in the Article 78 proceedings, it was kind of a mixed bag, maybe more leaning towards opting out. But, it's not clear because people don't vote on it. You're just talking to a few board members from certain districts, et cetera. So you don't know universally how they're going to act or vote. But it's become apparent that obviously everyone who's on the Article 78 thus far, other than Plain Edge, has voted to opt out. And then there are school districts that obviously are not part of that suit that are looking to opt out, like, I heard Syosset, obviously.
And Roslyn too, I think they were.
Roslyn. I heard North Shore might have opted out. I tried to verify that by looking at their minutes, but they weren't posted or the video wasn't posted yet, but someone had mentioned it. That's why I'm saying it's an unofficial list. Some are certain that I have, and some are, based on information that we've heard. So.
We feel this will, kind of, I guess, take some of the momentum out of this regionalization, I guess? Is that what by the masses opting out? There's
Yeah,
gonna be-
I think that's the idea, right?
Okay.
If there's a decent number of districts that are opting out of the planning process, then it obviously sends a signal about what we think about the regionalization.
If there's nobody to plan the regionalization, it kind of doesn't happen,
I
right?
think I mentioned in the December meeting that one of the great ironies of this entire regionalization process is that it has pushed us to act as a region to oppose it. And I think, at this point, as Joe had said, almost every district on that Article 78, 21 districts, other than Plainage, so 20 of the 21 have formally opted out, or we're verifying that. But, from the very beginning, Plainage has taken a stand on this. Not with the ultimate end goal of what they're seeking to accomplish. They've entered into this plan in an effort to provide every student in the state with access to a high-quality education. And I don't think there's a single person on this board that would disagree with that as something that is worthwhile. From the beginning, we were clear that our challenge initially was administrative, that the state had violated the rulemaking authority set forth in the State Administrative Procedures Act on how to put this in place, that the timeline was rushed. I mentioned at one point that it was a multi-year process to put the new regions, the new graduation requirements, the portrait of a graduate into place. And if I'm correct, the first cohort that will actually be affected by that isn't even in high school yet. 2027.
They actually keep changing.
And they keep pushing that. So something as important as regionalization, as important as shared services, which by the way is something that we're already doing. Why is it not worth the same depth of research, the same intensive study that the portrait of a graduate was? And I think that at the end of the day, I know where I stand is that let's get all the stakeholders. Let's have a timeline that makes sense. Let's not rush this. Let's not have this imposed. They keep throwing terms like general welfare around. Well, what does that actually mean? And if you look at how the state defines it, this doesn't really fall under general welfare. That was the exception they used. So the state has processes for a reason. They really weren't followed here. That's why we challenged them on administrative grounds. And now, now that the rule is permanent, we've shifted the conversation. The conversation has shifted from administrative to the practical implications of what comes next and what we actually, where do we stand. We've stood in opposition to this and how it's being done from the very beginning. And echo Mr. Paris, I think that this is something we have no choice but to opt out and pull back from the strength of the assessment.
That sounds great. Good. I'm on board.
Outside of what other districts might think or the process the state used to get here, I think regionalization is bad for Plainedge. It's bad for our students, and opting out is what we need to do.
So with that, do we need to read the resolution or?
No, you can do by consent.
Okay, so all those in favor of opting out of the regionalization process, planning process?
Okay, 7 in favor.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn the special meeting? Mrs. Versace, second. Harris, all in favor?
They're all in favor, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Stay warm.
Yeah.